if you don't have a huge budget, how do you know where to put your extra money? And just as a viewer, I think it is, if you happen to go back and, you're watching things and you're like, oh, that, whatever that moment, maybe the lighting was off, maybe the I didn't hear what that person said, and it pulled you out of it, then maybe that's a sign that you need to put the extra budget towards that.
Yeah.
This is the Cinematography for Actors podcast.
More than a podcast, Cinematography for Actors is a vibrant community devoted to bridging the gap between talent and crew. Each week, our show offers transparent, insightful conversations with industry leaders. We unveil the magic behind the scenes, from candid discussions about unique filmmaking processes to in-depth technical exploration. Join us in unraveling the intricacies of filmmaking, one episode at a time. It's more than just cameras and lenses. We aim to inspire, educate, and empower as we peel back the curtain on the art of effective storytelling. Now on to the episode.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another special episode of Cinematography for Actors podcast here at Mammoth Film Festival, Indiana. And I, Hally Royal, are seated together with two of our judges here this year. We have Farah White and Hally Leadbetter. Hi.
Hi, guys.
Good to meet you both.
Great to meet you.
So the first question I want to ask is to find out if this is your first year judging a film festival, the both of you.
It is mine. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Farah, I think Farah is very OG at this stuff. She knows a lot
Like a
about this kind of thing.
That's a
Yes.
polite way to say I've been around the block.
No.
No, but I got to be in a judges panel with her, and I was just like, candidly, this is my first time doing anything like this. I did it to the best of my ability, and I was taking notes, and then she's like, I took notes too, and I was like, okay, good. So now I Farah did that, so I did that. I felt like I did the right thing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So are you judging the same categories?
I'm doing action sports, so I have a sports background. I'm a sports broadcaster.
Cool.
So I think that's why Tanner Beard brought me in for that.
Mhm.
So that was my category.
Fantastic.
Okay, and Farah?
And I'm doing the shorts and the features.
You got to do both?
So I originally was going to just do the shorts, and then I don't know, I'm not sure what happened, but maybe he knows also I just am a fiend when it comes to watching movies.
Oh,
so
Okay.
yeah, I had the privilege.
He
of
knew you
getting
could
asked to do
handle
the features as well.
all that work.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I love it.
that's
Wow,
so great.
that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's
And
fun.
so, what are the rules for like a veteran judge? What are the rules going in? Like, what is your workflow? Do different festivals have different kind of rules around what they want from you out of it? Like, talk about that. I'd love
So you know
to hear
what?
it.
That's interesting
Yeah.
that you ask that. So every festival is different,
Mhm.
right? So sometimes there will be less categories to choose from. It's really nice. That's one of the great things about Mammoth is
Yeah.
that there are so many different categories. Because there are so many different types of films here that it's nice to be able to then spread some of the love and really be able to give people credit where they deserve it and where
Right.
they've earned it and get they get recognized for it, because this business is tough
Mhm.
and independent film in general is tough. So these laurels, these wins at festivals, even getting accepted to a festival
Yes.
is
Big
so
deal.
hard. So the fact that they're actually getting that and then getting to show that also, they've been nominated for something is huge, because those are laurels.
Mhm.
And then, winning something, that's just, I think it helps them get more attention. It helps different buyers and people looking in the market to be able to have, immediately they just stand out, right? Oh, well, this one won, blah, blah, blah. And so it just always helps. But it's nice to be able to be a part of that and help films get the,
The
recognized.
platform they
Mhm.
deserve. Yeah.
How are you breaking up your watch time? Did you guys do it the same? Did you do it differently?
I had much less to watch than
Mhm.
Farah. I only had, I believe, 9 submissions.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So I believe there were also like 4 shorts and then 5 features.
Mhm.
So I split it up over a couple days
Nice.
and just sat there with my laptop and just, so I really loved this about this, wasn't a huge fan of that. And then just sort of like, maybe went back and watched a few if I needed to, or went back to certain parts. So yeah, I divided up a couple days, but I tried to watch them as close together as I could, because
Mhm.
again, having to choose like your favorite,
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like, have like my memory of one affect it. So I
Mhm.
tried to watch them kind
Yeah.
of within 2 or 3 days. But I don't know, was that you?
No,
had so
you did. No,
many.
you answered the right
Oh,
thing.
is that okay?
That's
No, you did.
fantastic. I love
Yeah, you
it.
split it up. And then, we have to do that around whatever else we're actually
Right.
really
Yes.
doing
Yes.
in life.
Yeah.
So I like to watch for example, if I'm going to watch it on my television, or if I'm going to watch it on my laptop, I try to do whatever that category is, all on that,
Oh,
so that I
cool.
can keep that uniform. I
Fair.
mentioned it during
Yeah.
our panel yesterday. My whole Virgo comes out of, I have certain things that I have
Aw.
to check off, but I also watch things multiple times sometimes, or will rewatch a part, or if I get to a certain point in the movie and think, well, wait, let me just double check how they got there. I'll go back and think, did I miss something? What? But in this day and age, also, it's like, did I glance at my phone? Did I?
Right.
But
I
also,
get it, yeah.
because nothing bothers me more than, as a filmmaker and an actress, going to a festival and seeing something and wondering, how did did they watch it on their phone?
Yeah.
These jurors, you know what I mean?
know,
Like, I really
right.
hope that
Yeah.
they go ahead and do the thing and
Definitely.
watch it, and
Yeah.
and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
I'm so cinematography for actors. Haley's the actor side. I'm the cinematographer side, and so it is interesting because now even as a DP, you're constantly reminded as like the majority of people are probably going to watch this on their phone or their laptop, and so it's become this thing where yes, we make it for the big screen, we make sure everything is perfect, we try and color match as much as possible, but then we have to leave it to the audience to just like hope that the story carries it along, right?
Sure.
And that's all we can do. And so I think it's so great to have to hear that there's like some uniform in watching it, like all the shorts will be on the laptop, or all of features will be on TV, or vice versa. But
Right.
I think that's so wonderful. What are some of the like characteristics of films or like shorts or features that take you out of the story, that you that pull you back? What are those things?
I think the number one thing for me, which is something that I feel like people never really put as much money into the sound budget,
Right.
and the music that they should. I feel like that's always the thing that's thought about last, and it's so important. If I can't hear or understand what is being said,
Yeah.
that is I'm immediately, if I'm struggling, then it pulls me out of the story.
Right.
And then it makes me sad because I don't want to be pulled out of the story.
course.
I am 100% wanting to escape from this world.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
In this
Yeah.
life. Like, I want to be invested
Yeah.
in that. But I would say that, sound and composition is huge.
Yeah.
We have some exciting news. CFA has teamed up with We Make Movies to get you a discount on production management services, including access to comprehensive production insurance and workers' comp for your next shoot. Visit wemakemovies.org/insurance and use code CFA23 on your intake form for 10% off your quote.
And then honestly, every other aspect, I feel like that, and especially here, it's just such pros.
Right.
I'm seeing such great stuff that I didn't have nothing that I filmed that I saw here, short or feature, did I get pulled out of.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
That's a
wonderful.
testament
Good
to the
news.
festival.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
The kind of programming they do.
Yeah.
And I would second the sound. And I think yesterday we got a question during our panel, and someone asked, like, if you don't have a huge budget, how do you know where to put your extra money? And just as a viewer, I think it is, if you happen to go back and you're watching things and you're like, oh, that whatever that moment, maybe the lighting was off, maybe the I didn't hear what that person said, and it pulled you out of it, then maybe that's a sign that you need to put the extra budget towards that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think regardless of how much money you have.
Yeah.
And I think, Vera, was it you that had the example of the friend that had the like 12-minute long short where that was reading a lot of complicated pieces?
Yeah.
And maybe you can just elaborate on that. But
Sure.
that was super interesting because they made the decision that, hey, if we tried to go shoot all these really complicated scenes, it's probably just going to take you out of it because we can't get the quality to where it needs to be.
Well, right. And it's thing where, so in theory, technically, I guess almost like a Princess Bride, right? Because he's reading the story and then you go and you see all of these things. But no, it's actually David Lowery, a filmmaker also from Texas, that had done this short film. And it literally is a father reading to his son. And he's reading about all of these major adventures that are happening. But you're just literally seeing the father's face, the kid's face, and then the lamp, the shade that's turning on the wall and the lights and how they're reflecting and bouncing. But you're still hearing that story. Yeah. And I'll be damned if you're just not glued to the screen.
Wow.
And now he's directing huge
Right.
budget
As
things.
opposed to being like, all right, we got to find a pirate ship
Totally.
and a
Yeah,
spaceship. Whereas like
Right.
you'd be like, this is not, this is taking me out of the story.
Right.
So I think that's maybe something just to think about, like, okay, what budget constraints do we have?
Bigger doesn't
Right.
always mean better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
Real
and but
testament
as
to
far as the
less is
money,
more.
you know, other than feeding your people really well,
Yes.
right, and making sure
I love
that
to
everyone's
feed them.
happy.
Safety on
Happy.
set.
Feed them.
Yes,
Giving
safety
them
on
respect.
set,
Yes.
feed your people, and then every other dollar you should be able to see on the screen.
Yes, yes. I love that.
Amazing.
Thank you for saying that as the first thing. I think that's such a thing I advocate for all the time is just like, yeah, treating your crew with respect,
Yep.
safety, and
Yep.
and just making sure that they
It
are
really
taken
does
care
make
of.
all the difference.
Yeah.
Like
It does,
Mhm.
yeah.
I remember the first set I ever went on in LA like a year ago. I was just like, oh my God, they have so many snacks. And I was like, this is
know.
awesome.
I
Why
know.
else
The
do we work
snacks
filming
are
except for the
your-
free food?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
And I mean, I like Indiana is not just blowing smoke. Like
Yeah.
I've been on a set where Indy says my crew doesn't work until you feed them lunch.
yes,
Like,
we're
she
not working past
stopped
6
it.
hours right now. This is
Yeah.
not. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So I have a question then. I want to know about ranking. Did you have to choose one favorite or did you choose a few favorites? What were the rules around that and how are they tallying up these points?
So for me, I had to choose my two favorites,
Okay.
and it was interesting. What at least the gauge that I gave myself was because you're looking at action sports category, everything from biking to skydiving to this sport called ice cross, which I had never heard of, but am now like
We're interviewing them next.
okay,
Yeah,
well,
great.
incredible stuff.
Yeah.
And so for me, they were all shot so beautifully, but very different stories and also very different types of athletes. You had these two guys who were best friends who were just like two regular dudes, and then you had these professional ice cross,
Yeah.
just jacked guys that are traveling around the world. But sort of the through line for all of it was they were all so passionate about what they were doing, and I just found myself rooting for them so much. So
So
kind of
great.
what I judged it on was like, okay, how clear is the goal of these characters? Is it coming across? And then how much like am I finding myself
Yeah.
rooting for them?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's kind of, but it was very difficult because even as I was watching and I was like, okay, right now these are my top two favorites. And then I watch another one, I'm like, okay, well now that maybe that's
Yeah.
and then I
Yeah.
was just like
Yeah.
just trying to figure it out. But no, it's definitely challenging because they were all so good and so and also so different.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to choose like, okay, what are the best? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
but that's
Absolutely.
obviously just you do your best.
You
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
your best.
The
You
best.
find the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And is it the same system for shorts and features?
So it's the same. There are a few, like there's a best genre category, but then of course best actor, best actress.
Yes.
I
I know
best
there's a lot of
Oh,
feature,
yeah.
best
There's a lot of
short.
things
But there's a cinematography award this year, and yeah, there's so
We love
it's
hearing that.
yeah, there's lots of they've taken the time to actually break it down because there's so many films.
Yeah.
And what's nice is there's so many. I think one of the reasons it's important to do that is there are actually buyers at this festival.
I know. Yeah, we were just talking to
unlike-
Tanner about that.
Yeah, I mean, and
we sold 3 this year, I think, so far.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
incredible!
Yeah.
And I know 5 last year, and I'm a juror at some festivals, that have been around for 20 years,
Mhm.
and they still are not a marketplace.
Yeah.
Like your film doesn't get sold
Which is
there.
what
Right.
festivals kind of should be in a way of like the longevity of your career is sustained by the platform in which they give you.
It would be wonderful
Yeah.
if there were a few buyers or distributors at all festivals. I don't know why, as a buyer or a distributor, you wouldn't
I know.
have a presence there because
Yeah.
it seems like it would give
Undiscovered
you
talent too. And
right,
films
because even if
and-
you weren't actually going to buy
Right.
anything,
right.
you
Yeah.
would be potentially looking at talent, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Any
always,
category.
yeah,
Yeah, a film
Absolutely.
festival is a gold mine of talent.
Yes.
Well,
Really.
right? And buy them when you can get them cheap.
I
you
know.
know?
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
That's right.
When the hype is there yet,
That's
and you're
right.
like, yeah, just finding
Yeah.
out the roots.
Yeah,
Yeah,
film
exactly.
festival. It's like a coupon. You should come.
Yes, exactly.
40% off of this one.
Yeah, and we love a coupon, so
Yes,
this is
we just love
good.
coupons.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to hear from the judges' perspective because it's something we rarely really get to. Whoever we get to interview is normally like filmmakers or like festival heads, and so the judges are the integral part of how this festival runs. So thank you so much for answering these questions.
Yeah,
Of
thanks for having us. You
course.
ladies are fun.
Well, we can't wait to hear your picks tomorrow at the awards ceremony. So thanks. We'll see you then, guys.
Yay.
Bye, everyone.
Join us in bridging the gap between talent and crew. Start by subscribing on your preferred podcast platform, sign up for our newsletter to stay up to date on vendor discounts, community events, and new podcast releases, and educate yourself through our free course releases on YouTube. It all starts at cinematographyforactors.com. And if you like this episode, consider leaving a review to make it easier for other listeners to find us.